It's Tuesday, January 12th, and you're watching The Great Lost Rewatch. Today we're talking about cabin fever. So this episode starts in a flashback. That's refreshing. It's been a while since we've had a flashback. Emily Locke, she's going to go out with Anthony Cooper, who is twice her age, but unfortunately she gets hit by a car. I know there's a group of people out there who believe that whoever is driving that car is important and we don't know their identity for a reason. I'm not sure which camp I fall in yet. It would be cool if it was somebody we knew. And even though John Locke is 3 months early, he fights his way through every kind of infection and disease that a preemie can have, but Emily just can't deal with it, and they're going to put the baby up for adoption, and Richard is just kind of creepily standing there in the window, but we know now it's because Locke in the 5th season tells him to go and visit him in the hospital. A few years later, Locke looks like he's about 5, maybe 6 years old, and Richard comes to visit him again, saying that he runs a school for special children, and he wants to see if Locke is one of them.
Tell me, John, which of these things belong to you?
Tree?
No, John. Which of these things belong to you already?
Locke first chooses this vial that has some kind of ash powdery thing that looks very similar to the kind that is around Jacob's cabin. And then he chooses the compass, which is really cool considering how important the compass is in season 5. Then Locke chooses the knife, which is apparently the wrong answer, which I don't understand. I mean, if you were to ask people what's an identifying feature of Locke, a lot of us would say the fact that he is awesome with knives. We then see high school Locke, and surprise, surprise, he is not popular at all. Poor John Locke. I mean, his whole life has been people telling him that he is special, and then nothing coming of it. And I think that's the reason that a lot of people are concerned about Locke and his storyline in season 6, because, you know, he's dead and being inhabited by this black shirt guy who seemingly is the bad guy on the show. We don't know. But I think a lot of people just want to make sure that Locke gets that redemption. The promise that he is special is fulfilled to its full potential. And I get that. I want that too. I want Locke to be awesome. The last scene in the flashback is John after he is paralyzed and he is working in the rehab, and his orderly happens to be Matthew Abaddon. What Locke needs is to go on a walkabout and he'll discover who he really is. Again, Matthew Abaddon putting people where they need to be. On the freighter, Keamy and his team have returned after having their asses handed to them by the smoke monster. Captain Galt lets Keamy know that Michael was the traitor, and let's just say Keamy has some anger management issues. Go to the secondary protocol, which, by the way, has a Dharma label on it. Saeed suggests, why don't you give us the Zodiac boat? That way we can start ferrying people from the island to the freighter. Keamy and his team are ready to go back to the island, and Frank says there's no way. And Keamy, to intimidate Frank, not only kills the doctor, which we see why he gets his throat slit, but also he kills the captain. But Frank hides one of the satellite phones in a bag, and when they fly over our survivors' camp, he throws it out of the chopper, and Jack and the others find it. Meanwhile, Locke, Ben, and Hurley are on their way to Jacob's cabin. They really don't have any idea where they're going. Locke hears a strange noise, he wakes up and walks, and we find that there is Horace.
I'm not making any sense, am I?
No.
That's probably because I've been dead for 12 years.
And he says to John, you have to find me. And the scene is very weird because it seems to be stuck in its own little kind of time loop. I mean, Horace chops down the tree, and then the next second the tree is back up again. But we find out that this whole exchange is a dream, and Ben is jealous. He used to have dreams. So the three of them make it to the Dharma ditch, which Hurley had never seen before.
What happened to him? He did.
Locke finds Horace's remains, and he finds a map of where Jacob's cabin is. Ben warns Locke that being special isn't all that it's cracked up to be.
Destiny, John, is a fickle bitch.
We finally make it back to Jacob's cabin, and Locke goes in by himself.
Are you Jacob?
No. But I can speak on his behalf.
Well, who are you?
I'm Christian.
So once again, it seems that the man in the black shirt is inhabiting Christian Shepherd's body, or using him as some kind of pawn. Oh my gosh, we get to see Jacob. We finally get to see Jacob, and...
Hi, John.
Oh, it's just Claire. Locke is completely baffled by this and begins to, drill questions, and Christian says, look, those questions don't matter now, so why don't you just ask the one question that does? And Locke says, how do I save the island? And it turns out the only way to save it is...
He wants us to move the island.
And that's where we're going to leave it today. We've got to move the island. Liz, you're talking about There's No Place Like Home part 1 of 3 tomorrow, so I'll see you then.
We're gonna need to watch that again.
John Locke, He's ready to kick some ass in season 6. Yeah.